Okay, welcome one and all to the open house of CyberWise course, professional training course in IT networking and ethical hacking, training our students to become successful members of the cybersecurity industry worldwide. My name is Jonathan Ratner, and my wife and I founded Tzomet Careers over a decade ago. I'm going to tell you a little bit about us and what we do. And I'm going to tell you a lot about the course and the cybersecurity industry and the promise that it holds for people who are interested in investing in it. If you have any questions, you could put them in the chat, you could shout them out, and we'll try to communicate. So let's go. So Tzomet Careers, we founded in 2009, and it's based on deep understanding of people, their personalities, and as well as the global employment market. My wife's from Russia. I'm from the US. We both have master's degrees. I have a master's degree from Boston University. I went to Columbia University. We're citizens of the world. We've been around. I've done business internationally. Was managing a hedge fund. And we're trying to help people in our community earn an honest living and support their families. It's not a get-rich quick scheme, okay? If that's what you're looking for, you're in the wrong place. What we offer you is if you want to work hard and earn a living and then work hard some more, then you come to the right place. It's about working hard and earning an honest living. So even with that, it's not so easy to find your way and find a place and find, a good industry and something that offers fair compensation for your brains, your good brains and your hard work. But we think we think and we actually know. The proof is in the pudding. We've been doing this 6 years. We have, tens and sort of hundreds of people that are working in the field and are successfully doing this. So this really works. We really know what we're doing. It starts, as I said, with people. How did we get here? So again, our expertise is in understanding human personalities, people, their skills, their personality. If somebody loves to run around all day and they can't sit in front of the screen even for 5 minutes, this isn't going to work. Okay, you have to be a little bit technical and enjoy the interface between you and the computer. The truth is, I'm going to talk about diversity in the field of cyber, but you have to feel comfortable with your computer and enjoy technology. That's really important. A source of satisfaction, your occupational inclinations, expectations in the community. How much money do you plan to make? Do you want to work full-time, part-time? You want to work from home? And of course, what's in demand in the job market? And that's how we got here. I'm going to talk about this with some numbers later, but I'll start off by saying there's a shortage of skilled employees in the cybersecurity international market. So there's actually 3.2 million people missing. So all the people that we can train, we can't supply the market with as many good people as it needs. So, sometimes in Beis Yaakov, they teach computer programming and then they sort of flood the market. We're not in a situation where we're going to flood the market. The market is really, really thirsty. So what do we do? Training and placement. Our value proposition is based on our deep understanding and respect for each individual and our valuable connections to industry. We're really well connected, both in Israel and abroad, to cybersecurity companies, so that if students really bring us their best game and invest in the course and show us that they're serious about this, we can get them placed. Sometimes it's an internship position to get started, and then ultimately in good positions in thriving cybersecurity companies, both large and small. I have a nice new graphic of a number of our wonderful graduates. I said for 6 years we've been training ambitious individuals. You have to be ambitious. If you're not ambitious, if you're not ready to work hard, if you don't strive for it, so it's not going to work. You have to really be ready to invest and really want to do it. But these people that I've shown you here, they're all like that. Moshe Senderovic, from guy from Lakewood. He's now working on a US Army base as a senior cybersecurity expert. And the woman to his side is a young woman in Lakewood. She's doing really well for AT&T. She never went to college. She came home from SEM and did our course and got a great job. So each one of these people has taken our course at one time or another, and today have really excellent jobs in the field, whether in Israel or in the US. We have people in England, we have people in Belgium, certainly in Canada, all over the world. So why cyber is a good fit for our community? There's a certain seichel, there's a certain sense here. There's a shortage of talent, both in the Israeli and international cybersecurity industry, as I mentioned. The barrier to entry is really brains. You don't need a college degree. There's nothing in particular you need. You just got to learn the stuff. You got to learn how to do it. And what it takes to learn how to do it is desire to learn, a love of learning, persistence. You got to stick with it because there is a real lot of information. At the end of our one-year course, what you'll have in front of you is a lot more learning. Okay, we'll give you everything you need to get started, but with the assumption you're going to keep on learning. And that'll be one of the main things that the employers are going to ask you about what you know and seeing if you want to know more and if you intend to keep on learning. So you need to love to learn in order to succeed in this field. And I can explain that in just a few sentences. We're talking about protecting civilization from those people that are trying to destroy it. Okay, it sounds dramatic, but that's the way it is. The hackers are trying to, steal our money and really destroy the world, and they're using technology to do it. So whatever technology we have, they're going to use to try and steal and destroy. So we need to stay ahead of them. So we're going to have to keep studying whatever they're doing, the new exploits that they're creating. We have to learn how to defend against them. So it's an ongoing game of cops and robbers. We're the good guys defending against the international bad guys. So there's a certain amount of excitement in that. There is a relatively high pay after short education. If you want to become a lawyer or a doctor, you could probably do really well, but you'll have to go to medical school for 8 years. So that's a pretty long pathway. We're talking about earning nice money after a year course, and then working at, starting salary for a year or two. But after that, you're ready to get paid a really nice salary in the field. There's a lot of flexibility. You don't have to go to an operating room to operate on a patient. It's all about computers and the internet. We're going to learn what the internet is. So it's flexible. You probably don't have to be there. You could work from home. You could work at night hours or different hours. It may not always be like that. You may have to start off on premises for your training, or an employer might demand that. But there are a lot of remote work from home possibilities in this field. And I put this magazine article about Zkukim Lachem, that they're waiting in Israel particularly to bring more Charedim into this field. That's like a well-known theme in the Israeli government. And there's something called the Reshut Chadshanut, which was the office of the chief scientist. And they know we need more, human capital, what they call hon enoshi, okay, great HR talent. And of course, we have a ton of that talent in the Charedi community, but we got to bring that talent to the game, to the market. And that's what this course is about, is bridging that gap. So I call this one Tzomet in Tel Aviv because although a lot of our people are working in Yerushalayim, in some great cyber companies in Yerushalayim, but Tel Aviv is still a bigger cyber city than Yerushalayim, as far as we know. And so we are also Tel Aviv oriented. My wife and I, we both feel comfortable in Tel Aviv. I lived there years ago for a couple of months, and I like the energy of Tel Aviv. It's Israel's New York, so I like that. This is my wife speaking at Tel Aviv University, with one of Israel's leading cyber gurus, and her name is Karen Elazari. And just last week, we had a nice meetup at Palo Alto, which is a world-class leading cyber company, hosting our students because they want to hire them. So our students and graduates were there, and I am going to take the opportunity. We made a nice video, so I'm about to share that with you. A picture is worth 1,000 words, as they say. So here we go. I can't tell you that it was, their first time in Tel Aviv for some of those people, but that is sort of what it felt like. And just bringing these people to Tel Aviv and meeting the culture and the Tel Avivim was part of what we do. And because we have two graduates who work in Palo Alto, so they know the quality of our people and our graduates, and they're interested in hiring more. So that's why they wanted to host that get together, and it was very successful. We have students sending in the resumes, and look forward to more placements there. I have a whole theme now called Charedi women leading the cyber world, leading the world in cyber, and this is unbelievable. Everybody knows that Biden is in Israel tonight. A week or two ago, the Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology is a woman named Ann Neuberger. She goes by Hani. She's a Beis Yaakov graduate from Borough Park. She lives now in Silver Spring, and she was here in Israel. And this is a selfie that one of our graduates, Hannah, she's wonderful. She took our course, and she works in the field now as a CISO. And she was invited to a roundtable discussion with Ann Neuberger. So you see here, I took from today, from the whitehouse.gov, which is a pretty cool, website. It says, live now, President Biden tours the Iron Beam air defense system. That's here in Israel. They mean the Iron Dome, right? The Kippat Barzel. But this is the White House putting out information, and it's a statement by this frum woman, Ann Neuberger. So that's pretty cool that Charedi women are at the top of the game. Here's another woman who's part of our ecosystem. Her name is Ola Sergachov. And here's a picture of her at our Hanukkah party, and that's me. She's helping us and serving as a mentor to our students. Here's a great picture of a Chassidish guy, an Avrech. He calls himself an Avrech to this day. He's a world-class hacker, ranked by Google. He has his own startup. He's doing well. They've raised a lot of money. So the fact that he never learned cyber, not in Cheder, nor in Yeshiva Ktana, nor in Yeshiva Gdoila, it's the kind of thing, if you put your mind to it and you put your fingers on the keyboard and you read and you try and you do the drills, so you can really become something. You are people at a certain stage in your career, and you're thinking about managing your career and your future. And I want to share with you something about how career paths have changed. Career paths used to have a lot of stability. You could get on like a train, and it would follow the train tracks. You work for a company, maybe you join the union, you work there 50 years, you retire, you get a gold watch. Beautiful. Doesn't exist anymore. There's no such stability. There was a period of a bus route career where a bus, it can take a right or left turn, stops at traffic lights, but you know where it's going. Today, the world of careers and job mobility is such that it's like riding an off-road vehicle. So there's really no path. You have to, keep your balance and chart your way as you go. It's really challenging for the employee. You have to be all the time marketing yourself and thinking about your next job. But by taking this course, you're getting yourself some skills in understanding networking, how computers work, the world of cybersecurity, of data information security, and you're setting yourself up with valuable skills for the long-range future, as long as anybody can foresee. Because like I said, as long as we're reliant on the internet and technology, there'll be people abusing it, and it's our job to protect it. So who are these people that work in cyber? What's the secret? So it is true that a lot come from the Army or come from the intelligence services, the FBI or Modi'in, whatever, or fraud research at a company or from the police. But 34% of the people in the industry, that's over a third, are coming with no prior experience. And that's who our course is for. We expect you to come to the course with zero experience in computer programming. We have students who have a computer programming degree. We have people that have worked as accountants or lawyers or many other things. We have students of all ages and at different stages in their career. But the course starts really from zero, introducing the binary language of the computer, how a computer works, and takes you all the way to practical hands-on cybersecurity tools. I mentioned there's a shortage of human resources, human capital shortage for IT security operations. Here it says 1.8 million professionals. That's in a certain place. It's enormous. I do want to talk a little bit about personalities because, as I said, it's our expertise, and I think it's important that we have different kinds of people who take an interest in our course. I know Hannah Kay, who's one of our most successful graduates. She said she never would have dreamt of going into cybersecurity. She took psychology at college. So let me just, briefly say, if we divided personalities into 4 types, we called one gold personality, and they're into numbers, they're into data, they work in a bank or an accounting firm, regulations, auditing. A different type, a red type, they like to break rules, they like action. They're looking for, maybe they're a trader or something like that. Green types, teachers, people, trainers. Blue people, research and development, smart people, intellectuals, scientists. Okay, 4 types of people. They all have a place in cyber. And there's a variety of different roles in the cyber industry. I'm going to show you more about that in a second. But there's a great video here. So I am going to, again, share with you another video, because why should I tell you what they tell you in an even better way? So let me share my screen.
There's more advanced technology in your phone than it took to get America to the moon. The apps and games of today were the subject of science fiction just 30 years ago. But with technology changing so fast, it can be hard to know what's going to happen next, or where the next threat is going to come from. As someone raised with advanced modern technology, you have experience that experts a few decades ago would never have imagined. And you're going to have opportunities to turn that experience into a profitable career. This presentation is a quick introduction to the growing field of cybersecurity and how to get started on the path to a cybersecurity job. Cybersecurity is usually defined as the use of techniques or skills to protect data, networks, and systems from attack. Everyone knows someone who's been hacked, or has had their identity stolen, or even just lost control of their Facebook for a few hours. And there's always bigger attacks in the news. Data breaches at major companies means that millions of people can have their data stolen and sold on the black market. Hackers can use this data to make money, find more data to sell, or even ruin their victims' lives just for the fun of it. That's where cybersecurity comes in. Cybersecurity experts are the ones who are able to fight cyber criminals on their own turf, stopping them from accessing important information and keeping people safe. There's currently a cybersecurity skills shortage in the United States. There simply aren't enough people to fill all of the available jobs, and the problem keeps getting bigger. See, hackers don't have to be smart. The internet is full of tutorials about how to use pre-made scripts and attacks to wreck someone else's day. Most hackers don't know a lot about computers and don't take time for special training or study. They just grab that pre-made script and go cause a mess. That means there's millions of low-level hackers out there. Cybersecurity experts, on the other hand, are fewer but more valuable. They've taken the time to study a problem and know how to use their talents. That means cybersecurity experts can be harder to find, and they're desperately needed. Think of it this way. Even if an enemy hacker is only level 1, 50 enemies can still overrun a fortress. You need at least one level 50 cybersecurity expert to beat them all. Here are a few of the many kinds of jobs that you might see in the cybersecurity field. Graphic designer. Michelle is an artist. She works for a cybersecurity firm designing posters and creating eye-catching images to teach people about security. Social engineering trainer. Lee is an actor. He understands how to portray emotion and tell a convincing story, so he teaches other people how to tell when someone is lying or trying to scam them. Network security admin. Joe likes puzzles and problem solving. She's good at spotting when something doesn't fit a pattern, so she monitors the computer networks and is the first to see when a hacker is trying to break in. Social media consultant. Hendrik was on Tumblr before anyone else. He always knows what's trending before it even trends, and has seen all the scam emails and messages that get sent around. He works as a consultant, explaining the possible dangers of social media to people who don't know much about it. Ethical hacker. Adam used to want to be a hacker. Instead, he joined up with a security firm and became an ethical hacker, which lets him do the same thing legally. Adam's job is to play the role of cyber criminal, testing targeted systems and seeing if he can break into them. If you think cybersecurity sounds like a good fit for you, then great. You're in for a wild ride with a lot of challenges and opportunities. Here's a few things you can do to start preparing for a career in cybersecurity. Take courses online. There are a lot of online training programs like Coursera. Remember, though, that many programs are scams and don't offer real certifications, so always research the course and double-check with your parents to be sure you're getting a real program. Practice, practice, practice. Play with code and talk to other people who are interested in computers and security. Find a mentor. Ask your teacher or a family member who knows about cybersecurity if they'll mentor you. See if you can arrange a visit to a local technology company and ask about what kind of attacks they have to deal with. You'll hear some good stories. Join a camp. Many organizations offer tech boot camps to teach you the basics of security, programming, and even ethical hacking. Participate in competitions. Challenges such as the Global Cyber Olympics will give you a chance to test your skills against other people of varying skill levels, and prizes include free courses, streaming video, and cash. This skills gap means that you have a very valuable opportunity. Chances are you've grown up with a PC, a smartphone, a tablet, or all three. If you're 18, you could have 12 years of experience using a computer, and that means you already know things that older generations have had to be trained on. And let's be honest, the money can be pretty good too. The one thing that most intimidates people about cybersecurity or any computer job is the idea that you need to know how to program a computer. While understanding and writing code can be very valuable skills, a lot of employers would prefer someone who's smart and willing to learn over someone who can do code and nothing else. Often, the answer is yes. A bachelor's degree in computer science, for example, can be very helpful in understanding cybersecurity. However, if you don't want to go to college, you can still learn a lot of things on your own that will make it easier to break into cybersecurity. Thanks to the internet, you have an incredible amount of information at your fingertips. Today, we went over the basics of cybersecurity and cybersecurity careers. We reviewed what cybersecurity is and why it's a growing industry, as well as a few of the jobs that are open for different skill sets. Finally, we went over what you can do to be a part of the cybersecurity field. Thanks for taking the time for our presentation.
Okay. So again, I think they addressed a lot of questions and talked about the diversity of the different types of people who can succeed in the field. So that's why I really love that video. Akiva asked a question. I don't mind fielding it right now. He asked, what are the benefits of cybersecurity versus software engineering? They seem similar in terms of how much education, etc., and earning potential. So software engineering is a huge field. Cybersecurity is a more focused field. I'm going to show you the diversity of cybersecurity. It's true, but it is more focused, and there is a shortage, as we've talked about, in cybersecurity, which there's not necessarily in software engineering. In software engineering, you have a lot of outsourcing to India and third world countries where there's what's called code monkeys, people who know how to do coding, and so a lot of times people aren't ready to pay a full salary in the US or a Western country because you can get the coding done more cheaply overseas. Whereas cybersecurity, because of the sensitive nature of people dealing with their data, they want to have a company who stands behind their security that they know, and it's a person they can see and they can trust. So because of the trust element in cybersecurity and the specifics of it, so there are opportunities available to young people who are coming into the field that you might not find in software engineering. So again, it's a personal choice. Either choice could work out good for any given person. Let me get back to my presentation. Okay. So here is some of the diverse branches of the cybersecurity industry. I don't want you to think that like everybody in cyber is doing the same thing. I'm going to show you momentarily what our students are doing when they conclude the course. But I'll just show you some of the headings here. Threat intelligence, understanding the particular malware that right now is going around that the hackers are using. Training people is an important part for like teachers. Physical security, right? And somebody has to keep the bad guys out of, your factory or your office. Security architecture, career development, security operations, laws and regulations. We're going to talk about that more. Risk assessment. A company knows they have a lot of assets, but what are the risks to their assets? What are the likelihood? How much would it cost them? So this is part of risk assessment. My point here in this slide is that there are many different things that people with cybersecurity training are doing, and that they have different characters in this job, and you'll find something that suits you. So as I said, these are real pathways from CyberWise onward. What are our students doing after they complete our course? So I have listed 6 different pathways. One is SOC analyst. So I have a cute graphic here about a SOC analyst is not a person who's trying to find a pair of socks in the morning, but SOC stands for Security Operations Center. So it looks like this, right? Where there's a screen and you're seeing attacks and you're seeing what's happening on the network and you're going through the various, let's see, any red flags that cause suspicion and you're dealing with them and you're passing them on or you're alerting the customer. And again, this is sophisticated today. It's automated. So the human part is there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 SOC analysts. But that is a really great place to start because then you're seeing real attacks in real life. And so it's a great way to learn about the field. And we have some companies that we're working with that have a SOC and what's called a SIEM, SIEM, a security incident, emergency something. They're dealing with incidents. And so we have people working in this. We can place you in that. So the second one, cybersecurity researcher. Okay, people who their job is to do research and then to summarize information and pass it on to customers to learn about what's going on and what are the current threats. GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance. We're going to talk more about that even if a company, let's say, was real macho and they weren't afraid they were going to get hacked, but they need to comply with rules and regulations. In order to do business with serious companies, if you even have credit card payment on your website, you have to keep the rules. And so a big part of this industry is making sure that various companies are keeping the rules. So there's a lot of people who, as I said, might have worked for a bank or an accounting company, and they're working in cyber in this part of the business called GRC. And that is something, we have a woman, she's from Beitar Elite, she's a Yiddish speaker, and she's doing GRC with a young man, an entrepreneur in Brooklyn. And the truth is she finished our course and she had 3 job offers and she had her choice of which job she took. She ended up working on a part-time basis from home as a GRC specialist, earning a nice American salary. Number 4 that I have here is incident response. We all understand that sometimes people get hacked. You can never be 100% foolproof, safe from hacking, no matter who and what you are. We all know that the biggest governments and companies have all been hacked. So when something bad happens, you got to deal with it. And so there are special professionals who are trained in incident response. And we also have a company where we work really closely with, and she also hires a number of our people who are interested in that direction. A pen tester means penetration testing. Part of compliance that I mentioned is that every quarter you need to have an outside company try to penetrate your website, your online surface, they call it, attack surface. So they try to attack your website, see if they could take it down or get into your database or deface it, whatever, and then they write a report about their findings. So the people who work in that are called pen testers. And they're, again, on all different levels, but we have people graduating the course and working today as pen testers in Yerushalayim, in the US and elsewhere. Number 6 is an advanced position. CISO stands for Chief Information Security Officer. And so that you would, the place for that person is in the corporate office of a company next to the CEO and the CFO. So there's the CISO, and he or she plays a very important role in protecting all the information of the company. It's like the top cybersecurity job in a company. But because a lot of companies are small, they don't have a budget for a full-time CISO, and maybe not the need, but they need someone to play that role and to lead the company in their cybersecurity posture, as it's called. So they hire that out, what's called CISO as a service. And so we have a number, actually young women, who are working as a virtual CISO. We have a young woman who was from Beit Shemesh. She was a teacher in Beis Yaakov, and she's a Hebrew speaker. She took our course, and she really got into it. And today she's the CISO of Yad Shtayim, whatever it's called, in Israel, which is the biggest used goods online site. And she's their CISO. So that's a really advanced position that if you're ambitious and smart, you could get to after the course. So I saw someone ask for a statistic. I want to share something. Our course, and one, as I said, our value proposition, we care about people. So we take every student, at face value and deal with them and learn about them and share with them. So let me ask you this. We had a woman who was great in the course, and during the year of the course, her husband made a real lot of money. And so she decided she wasn't interested in getting a job because she could work for her husband or whatever, maybe go shopping. I don't know. But we had another woman who was a lawyer, and she was like the top student in her class. And she said at the end, you know what? I don't want to work in the industry. We had a kid who was from a rich family, and he was really interested and did well in the course, but he also didn't take a job. So my point is that some individuals are coming, they need the course, they need the job, and they're really focused on that. And of those students who are focused and invest in the course and do the homework and pass the tests and do the projects, at the end of the course, we place, and I'm gonna, say 100% of them, okay? Because we work with each one and we find the right opportunity for them. But there are, of course, people who drop out. They find it's not for them. And there are people who complete the course but aren't interested in working in the field. We are most focused on those who do want to work in the field. If you're just interested in the topic but not really looking for a career, so you should, go somewhere else. There's lots of free online courses. There's something called Cybrary. So we're about a career pathway. We're going to work with you and help you find a great job in this field. That's what we're about. Okay, we're going on. Personality traits for success in cyber. This is something you might want to ask yourself. Do I have these? Curiosity. Am I interested? How do things work? A love of learning. Again, you have to be good at reading and, and again, it's technical stuff. Strategic thinking and calm under pressure. These are good traits. I have a graphic here, sought after cybersecurity skills, attention to detail, creative problem solving, clear communication. The hard skills are information management, computer science basics, and specialization in something that you'll find interesting over the course and your time afterwards. But an important lesson that one of our teachers repeats every week is that the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. So I like to emphasize this. No one was born as an expert in cybersecurity, okay? Anybody in the field has been working at it a long time, and they've made a real lot of mistakes. They've tried things and they've failed, but that's just a part of what this is all about. Someone told me the depressing statistic that it's 90% failure and frustration and 10% success. So I don't know if that's the right data, but there is a lot of trying until you make it work. So you have to be persistent and you have to stay calm and not just start to cry. I tend to start to cry, so that's why I'm not working in the technical aspect of cybersecurity. I want to share with you, again, part of what makes it such a hot industry and why it's forecasted and it's obvious that it's going to continue to grow, and that is the background at who are the hackers. The hackers can be just, people who are trying to rob a bank without buying a gun. Okay, robbing a bank with a gun is a bad idea, You may get killed, you may go to jail. But robbing a bank using the internet, using hacking is, I won't say it's a good idea because it's illegal and it's immoral and it's wrong, but there's a lot of people trying to do it and there's money to be made there. So they're going to continue doing it. And they don't have to get out of their pajamas and they don't have to leave mom's house. They could, work from the basement. So there's always going to be criminals working in the field. Besides those kind of hackers, there's warfare going on right now, of course, between Israel and Iran, between the US and Russia and the Ukraine, China, North Korea, the Arab hacktivists. There's cyber war, which is a part of our lives. And there was an expression, this was from the Six-Day War in 1967. They said, Kol haaretz chazit, kol ha'am tzava. All of Eretz Israel is the front, and everybody in the nation is part of the army. And that's like a very Israeli mentality, a very militant mentality. But in today's world, it's true of the whole world. Wherever you are, and even if you're a pacifist, and even if you're not technical, if you have a bank account, if you have a credit card, you're exposed. There are going to be people who are going to try to use your credit card to buy stuff. There are going to be people trying to get into your bank account and take out your money, or they're going to send you a phishing email and tell you to wire them money. So everybody is on the front of cyber war, and we're all soldiers. So by taking our course, you're becoming a professional, and you'll be learned and you'll be able to provide services to the whole world who needs those services. You are very lucky that you're Jewish, and for those of you who are in Israel, Israel's a world leader in cyber, okay? And that, again, that's because of Yiddish Cup, right? Smart Jews. And because Israel doesn't have a lot of natural resources, okay, we found some gas, but Israel's greatest resource, of course, is our brains, our hardworking mentality, and our need to protect ourselves against a really cruel and evil world. So Israel is a world leader in cyber. These numbers are really staggering, besides the money raised. But look at the middle one. 41% of cybersecurity firm investments around the world were invested in Israeli companies. That's crazy. Israel's a tiny country, and yet 41% of international investment in cyber went to Israel. So that just shows you what a big technology center in cyber Israel is. And that's really, again, where this course came from. We're in Israel. We are connected to people from the Israeli army and the Israeli security agencies, as well as from the Israeli companies in the field. And so we're able to open up this opportunity to people from our community, whether they're in the US, Canada, the UK, Europe, wherever they are, but it comes really from Israel's advanced stature in this field. I wanted to share with you briefly some concepts of different types of cyber attacks so you understand a little bit, and that in this course you're going to learn not about them, but how to do them and how to protect against them. The course is very hands-on. It's really technical. There's one here, you see 28% of the attacks are DDoS attacks. And what it does is it overloads a website, a server, by sending a real lot of, let's say, information to it, by creating a whole bunch of what's called bots, like robots, computers that have been taken over, and they're all sending messages to the same server until it gets overloaded and it can't do anything. There's something called SQLI, a database injection, putting bad data into someone's database, defacing a website. That has happened to me, that hackers broke into my website and said, long live Palestine, whatever. Account hijacking, and all types. So our course is going to get into each one of these type of attacks, how it works, and how to defend against it. I mentioned earlier that the market for cybersecurity is driven not only by hackers stealing what you have, but even if you weren't scared, you have to comply to regulations. And whether you're in Israel, there's something called Chok Haganat HaPrat, the GDPR in Europe, the US has ESO. If you're in the medical industry, the hospitals, the doctors have HIPAA laws. If you're a publicly traded company, there's something called SOX. And anybody who has credit cards going through their website has to be PCI DSS compliant. So, no, again, like I said, nobody's immune from this stuff. Everybody's got to take a proactive role in complying to the regulations of cybersecurity. And what you're getting in our course is the foundation in order to provide these types of services. So I've given you some background about the course and what you can expect from the industry. I'm now going to share a little more about the nuts and bolts of what it is. So there's 38 classes over 38 weeks. It takes most of a year because of Yontif and etc. It starts from the beginning, like I said, network fundamental, learning your computer, what the internet is, virtualization, you basically turning on a computer within your computer, learning a lot about Windows and how it works behind the scenes. Linux is a whole different system. Scripting means we're going to learn how to write simple computer code. We are going to learn how to code computers, particularly as it relates to hacking. Understanding the web and websites, information security, network security, and the last section I called CEH OSCP, which means Certified Ethical Hacking. I'm going to talk momentarily about certification, which plays an important role in the industry. But you get a concept here of the syllabus. You see there's a number of exams along the way. There's a Python project, there's an InfoSec project, and there's a final project. So again, you can't just come to class and sleep through it or listen quietly. It's very demanding and proactive. The classes are 5 hours on Sundays, Israel time 5 to 10 p.m. So if you're in New York Standard Time, that'd be from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. So your Sundays are taken for a year. But again, this works, right? People that have done this and now they're working in the field and they're really happy about it. So if you are into it, so this is a great opportunity. So again, how does the course work? It's based on you coming to class attendance. The courses are on Zoom meetings like this one. We have a Slack channel, which is a place for everybody to share resources that they find, to ask questions. You ask questions of the other students, maybe they can answer. If not, the teacher will answer. There's what's called a Google Classroom where all the materials are uploaded and you can download. And because all the classes are recorded, so you can review them on your own. If you do need to miss a class, you have a chasana, whatever, or you're sick or something good happens to you, whatever, you let me know in advance, and then you're able to watch the recording on your own time. The 5 hours a week is important, but you can't enter the field based on that. You got to invest much more time. You have to put in another, minimum 8, 10, 15 hours a week. You have to spend, an hour more every day researching, doing the homework, learning more about everything that we're going to teach you about. As I mentioned, there are tests and projects which are graded. When you finish the course, again, there's different pathways. Some are internships, paid internships, free internships, and we're totally focused on placement. Like I mentioned, there's a number of CEOs of companies in Israel. There's a few CEOs in the New York area. When they need somebody, they turn to us. They say, send us your new people, we're hiring. So again, we have these really valuable relationships that we're sharing with our students and graduates to help them find the right opportunity for themselves. I mentioned certification. Our course, of course, we give you a certificate at the end, but who are we? We're a boutique. We're a small, Charedi nonprofit organization. But what we do recommend that you get an international certification. This is a particular pathway through a company called Compt A, and there's something called an A+, which is just about computers, a very basic one. But then there's one about networking, which is an excellent credential. And then there's one called Security Plus. Many of our students have already achieved the Networking Plus or the Security Plus during the course. And others, do it afterwards. Others maybe never do it. It's something valuable to have on your CV that you have this certification, because in any meeting you're going to have with a potential employer in this field, they'll ask you a little bit about yourself, but the main question is going to be, what do you know? Show me what you can do. So by having a credential that I passed the Security Plus or a pen testing, an OSCP or something, or even a CEH or junior pen testing, by having a certification under your belt that tells the employer, what you're talking about, this is stuff that they know you're going to still have to show them, at your interview. They're going to maybe put your hands to the keyboard and do this and do that. So the challenges are real. There's no faking it. You're not expected to know more than you know. You have to show a desire to learn and that you've mastered what you say you've mastered. So again, we coach you on that. Part of the course, I help you write your CV. I help you prepare for a job interview. We're experts in this stuff. We've been doing it a long time, and we have coached, hundreds of people to success in that way. Another nice little program we have within the online classes is what we call Cyber Stars, where we invite graduates or experts from the industry to address the class and talk about their experience, what they've gleaned, what they can share with you about which certification is valuable or how to get started in the field, etc. And a lot of our students then have reached out to these people through social media, LinkedIn. You'll definitely want to open a LinkedIn account over the course at some point as you get ready for placement. And so there is a lot of camaraderie, not only between the students in our class, which is an important point. Sometimes people say, oh, I'll just learn it online on my own. And again, if you can do that, more power to you. Most people need a structure, a misgeret, a group, a framework to do it. So every Sunday being there and having a teacher and having other students there with you is very meaningful to help people get through this difficult syllabus. It's a real lot of information. So again, we bring guest speakers that make it interesting and can share their expertise and experience to help you find your way in the field. Okay, I've shared with you what I wanted to share, and now I am opening it up for questions. Dora, do you have any questions?
I've been through a few open houses, so I think I've had everything answered, honestly.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, when is the last day to sign up?
So yeah, I was going to say that when people have asked that, I've been telling people like the recommended time to sign up is by the end of July, because you're going to want to prepare a little bit for the course, beginning at the end of August and everything. So really that's when we recommend, and the sooner the better, because then you can get started already with preparations and that kind of thing.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life. So once you decide you're taking the course, you should begin investing and learning and preparing. So Dora's right. There's no time like the present. Akivas Lepoy asks, what is the cost of the course? The cost of the course is 21,000 shekels, convertible to dollars, right? Whatever that is, the changes. But it's payable in installments. So you could pay in, monthly installments. Students pay by credit card or bank transfer or checks or whatever works for them. We're really flexible. People pay through PayPal. We make it work. Let me talk about financial aid. It was something I was thinking about. Anybody in Israel that's made Aliyah, so the Ministry of Absorption has helped a number of our students pay for the course. We work with them, providing the necessary paperwork. We had a guy from Gibraltar who's getting help from the government of Gibraltar. We have other people. My point here is that if you can find it, in England, we had someone in the UK who there was a Stuck organization that really paid his way. So if you can find an organization that will help underwrite your tuition, we'll be happy to work with you and help make that happen with the necessary documentation. There was another question before I go to those that I want to take. When does the class start? The answer is August 28th, like it's Rosh Chodesh Elul, I'm pretty sure. So very, very last part of August. Can we pay over a few years? Okay, well, we can talk about that. How many payments do you do? So 10 or 12 payments is totally fine.
I'd love to answer the question about the certificate. Like you said earlier, that who are we? We're just a small boutique school in cybersecurity. So really, like, our certificate is not something global. People will recognize, oh, you have a certificate from CyberWise. Having said that, what is recognized is that there are schools over the world that are teaching cybersecurity. And I noticed myself when I was going for jobs and interviews that employers really appreciated that I'd taken part in a course, like it happens to say on our certificate that you've taken part in an intense course of over 400 hours. And that's something that they actually take seriously. So really, if you want a certificate that employers can recognize, then like Mr. Ratner was saying, you can do the Compt A certificates during or after the course. Those are globally recognized, but what you do come away with from Tzomet is definitely appreciated. It's not a global recognition thing, but it's definitely appreciated. They understand what it means when someone spent that many hours intensely studying. That's what we found.
Thank you, Dvora. Well said. I'm going to do a live experiment. Someone asked about salary range. I sometimes had slides about it. I took it out today, but one of the things you're going to learn in the course is that any question you have, you need to Google, okay? So Google it. So this is what I got, right? This is in real time, 102,000, okay? So that's what Glassdoor says. Base pay, additional pay, whatever. You won't start at that salary, but you can get to that salary after a year or two or something like that. Are you able to give vouchers? I can't give free vouchers. You know, I can recommend you take the course, but no, it costs $300 approximately to take those certification tests, and that's on you. So yes, there's an additional cost to take certifications. Okay. Anybody else is welcome to email Dvora or myself. Dvora is DET Tzomet@gmail.com. I'm JR Tzomet@gmail.com. And I thank everybody for participating. We're here for you. Is the course offered more than once a year? Yes, it's offered twice a year. We may have even a third course, but it might be in Hebrew. We'll see. But generally, the past couple of years, we've been running it once in February and once like with the Jewish school year, starting Rosh Chodesh Elul and going into the summer. So that's how we've structured it.
If anybody is interested after this in getting registration or knowing what the next steps are, be in touch with me by email. I'm going to put my email in the chat, even though I think most people here have it. And then I can send you the registration forms, the student contract, and you can sign up via me.
Thank you very much, Dvora, for being here. And thanks everyone for participating. Okay, Dvora, you got to write your email fast before I close the meeting.
Fun.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Good night to all. Bracha v'atzlacha.